Committee for the Met Council. I'm Gail Cederberg, the newly appointed Chair of the Environment Committee. And before we get started, I really wanted to thank Councilmember Lindstrom for his stewardship of the committee the last 6 years. He's having a great vacation this week. And also Council Members Vento and Councilmember Lee, our new committee members, and they'll be joining us at the next meeting, I expect. Also, Council Members Osmond and Cameron have stepped off the committee to take their expertise on other committees as well. So during the reports at the end of the meeting, we'll have a few more introductions, and the committee members will be able to report out on things that they might be interested in. So first of all, we've received the agenda. Are there any additions or comments to the agenda? So seeing none, without objection, the agenda is approved. We've also received the draft Environmental Committee minutes for February 11th, 2025. Are there any edits or changes to the draft minutes? Seeing none, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Move approval.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Wolf, seconded by Morales. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. That passes unanimously. Moving on, we have no items on the consent agenda today, so we'll move on to our non-consent business. And we have 2 items on the agenda. The first item is business item 2025-40, ratification of declaration of emergency repair of Interceptor 1-MH-401C Lilydale Siphon. And today we have Jeff Schwarz presenting, and so we'll turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and council members. My name is Jeff Schwarz. I'm project manager in the engineering department for environmental services, and
have Adam Gordon from Interceptor Engineering as well, manager. Thank you.
So we're here to review business item 2025-40, ratification of declaration of emergency repair of Interceptor 1-MH-401C, the Lilydale Siphon. Part of the emergency declaration process, we have the infrastructure concern has been identified and investigated, which are the Lilydale siphons. We've made a determination that carrying out the competitive bidding process prescribed by the council's procurement policy would unacceptably delay the commencement of work to repair the facility. We need the emergency declaration document, which is prepared and signed by the General Manager, Environmental Services. After the review, the emergency declaration is authorized by the regional administrator, who has delegated authority pursuant to the council's procurement policy. The contractor is selected and work begins under the direction of a council's authorized representative. And the emergency declaration is ratified by Metropolitan Council if the cost is to correct the emergency exceeds $175,000. The project background, the 1MH401 system consists of 3 siphon pipes, a 16-inch, a 12-inch, and a 20-inch in diameter. They cross from the head house on the south side of the Mississippi to the north side of the Mississippi to the tail house. An emergency was declared in July 2023 to repair siphon B, the 12-inch that failed and caused a sewage spill. In July 2024, siphon C stopped taking flow and was taken out of service. An inspection of siphon A in February 2025 indicated a possible blockage or break. And the system is currently operating with siphons A and B, and the condition of siphon A suspect. Both siphons need to stay operable to provide the daily capacity. Continued operation of Siphon A could cause an underground spill, undermine the other siphons and gas mains, or cause another surface spill. Emergency repair of Siphon C is required to provide capacity and minimize potential asset damage or release of sewage to the environment. The proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council ratify the emergency declaration for repairs to Interceptor 1MH401C, Lilydale Siphon in St. Paul in the amount not to exceed $7 million. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Any questions? Councilmember Carter?
Yeah, I noticed that it was a weakened area on the pipe. Says that that's typically occurs where you have a crossover of electrical lines. And could you give me some detail on how often that occurs, or how many locations you have that potential in the system?
We don't know for sure that that's the problem. The area that the damage occurred is where the lines cross there, but we don't know for sure that that's what the problem is. And so would you like to say anything about that?
Yeah, council members, and we have crossings of gas mains, water mains, storm sewers, all throughout the Twin Cities. So interference with other utilities is not uncommon, and certainly how those are constructed may have an impact on our systems. But you don't have utilities without having to have crossings. I hate to even venture of how many thousands of crossings we probably have throughout the whole system.
So when you're fixing a problem or planning in those areas, you guys have joint meetings to try to pre-plan for potential?
Yes, I'll let Jeff talk specifically about how we're handling this with Xcel Energy.
Yeah, so these pipes were constructed in the 70s, I believe, and the gas lines were installed probably around that time. Then they were over the top of our pipes, and we didn't know that there was a problem until the last couple of years. And so there's potential that it's related to those crossings, but we don't really know that. So when the emergency repair that we'll do, we'll be able to find out what is and plan from there. So the planning that we've done with Xcel Energy is mainly to make sure that their gas lines are staying operable and that we're not undermining them or causing any damage. So we've been working very closely with them on this project to make sure that we don't cause any problems, because those gas mains supply the high bridge plant, and they're very essential to the city of St. Paul. So we're very conscious of that and are working closely with Xcel.
Councilmember Wolf?
Thank you. So it sounds like you guys were already working on fixing C, and you're just speeding it way up because A is looking sketchy. Is that kind of the layman's?
Well, the council members, thanks for the question. The first emergency repair we found and repaired that,
Right.
and so immediately we started another project to work on the other ones and inspect them. And in that time, we had the drawings ready to go, and then we had this other issue where we did the inspection and found the issues. So yeah, the plan was there to do the replacement. However, the damage was found during that. So now it's to a point that we need to repair it a lot faster than through the bidding process that we had set up. So.
Go ahead.
How long is it going to take to get C online again and then be able to take B or A out of service to fix that?
The work scheduled to start on March 17th, and they think that at this point, it looks like it's going to be about 8 to 10 weeks for the repair on just the one on the 20-inch. And then that'll get us enough capacity to finish the design and inspection of the rest of the facility. And then we'll do those repairs or whatever we find using the bidding process that was set forth before we had the emergency here.
So we're gonna have to do this for 8 to 10 weeks.
Yes, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions from anybody? So I have a question. So are we, to finish up after the C is done and you come back and have to, then you're going to bring up another budget back to fix A, is that correct? Or is that already set in, we have that in scope already?
Well, I think Madam Chair, the project to do the repairs, we're assuming is, that it may exceed the capital amount where we would have to come to the council again. We don't know for sure until we actually get the finished inspection and see how bad they are.
Councilmember Wolf?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Does the 7 million include just C, or are they gonna do C and A in the same emergency?
This is just C.
Okay.
All right. Seeing no other questions, we have a proposed action. The proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council ratify the emergency declaration for repairs to Interceptor 1 MH 401C Lilydale Siphon in St. Paul in the amount not to exceed $7 million. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion. Second.
Second. First by Dr. Carter, second by Councilmember Morales. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Passes unanimously. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Our second non-consent business item. See if I can get the right one here. Is business item 2025-72, Odor Control Media, Contract 24P174. We have Wayde Schroeder and Carol Blommel Johnson with us today, and I think we've seen this one come before us for quite a bit of time, so this will be great. Thank you for coming, and go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor, or Madam Chair, and members of the committee. I worked for a city previously. So I am Carol Blommel Johnson, and I'm the Interim Director of Interceptor Services.
My name is Wayde Schroeder. I'm an Assistant Business Unit Manager for Interceptor Operations Services. So thank you, committee, Madam Chair. We're going to discuss business item 2025-72 for the odor control media contract. The map here shows the odor control unit locations that we have throughout the 7-county metro area. A little bit of background. Metropolitan Council Environmental Services owns and operates 30-plus odor control units throughout the region. Odor control units help mitigate odors associated with regional wastewater systems. These units require periodic replacement of various types of media, and the work is performed internally by our Metropolitan Council Environmental Services staff. This here is a chart that shows the different types of media that we utilize within those 30-plus units. And if you look at the far right, it shows the estimated unit quantities that we utilize on an annual basis. It's just kind of dependent on environmental factors and stuff which correlate how much we do use. The bid details, so invitation for bids was on November 21st, 2024. There was 15 plan holders. 14 suppliers, 1 plan room, 2 plan holders were women, minority, veteran, or disadvantaged business enterprises. The pre-bid meeting was held on November 21st, 2024, and the public bid opening was December 5th of 2024. The bid results, 5 bids were received for the 4 individual media types. PureFill Incorporated, COMNX Incorporated was the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Office of Equity and Equal Opportunity did not set a Met Council underutilized business goal for this. Our proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council authorizes the regional administrator to award and execute contract 24P174 with PureFill Incorporated to provide odor control media in the amount not to exceed $4,233,000.
Are there any questions? Councilmember Wolf?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is kind of random, but I was looking at the map of all the places where you have the odor control facilities, and it seems like they're kind of concentrated around the Lake Minnetonka area, and I was wondering, why is that?
Question.
Thank you for the question, Madam Chair and committee members. The locations of the odor control units themselves are all based on a multitude of factors. It could be like drops in pipe. You know, around the Lake Minnetonka area, you do see quite a bit of elevation drop due to the lake and how the sewer system is constructed itself. So with that, when you have those drops, they create air, just think of them as air barriers. So the best thing to do is pull the air out of the system and treat it at that point. But yeah, they're all over the metropolitan area for various reasons, but I think that's why we see quite a few on the west side.
Councilmember Carter?
Do you tend to have more of a concentration of those interceptors near places where manufacturing is taking place?
Thank you for the question. Again, I think there's a lot of factors that play into that, but yeah, I wouldn't say that's a consistent basis.
Because it depends on what they're doing.
Correct. Yeah, it corrects. It depends. There's a lot of factors that go into that create that odorous air. So thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Councilmember Lee?
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. I'm going to my 7th year here at the council, but this is my very first time on the environmental committee. And so this is probably a dumb question and going to the weeds, but on the page, slide 3, what exactly is the unit being measured? Are we talking about 100, what says coconut shells? Is that hundreds of thousands of coconut shells, or exactly how are coconut shells being used in this process?
Thank you for the question. So could you clarify a little bit? What section are you looking for? The absorption capacity, or are you looking more for unit quantity?
Under unit estimate and the unit quantity.
Yep, so excuse me. Coconut shells is another type of media, manufactured media process that's used between, we use typically an impregnated carbon derived from like a hardwood or a coal. But there is some instances, and very rarely, that we do utilize a coconut shell media. I would say in my 9 years with the council, we've maybe seen it be effective at one site, just because the absorption rate is less than the coal or the hardwood derived media. But yeah, so and then to go back, it's 14 grams of H2S per cubic centimeter per surface area of that pelletized media itself.
Okay, thank you.
So.
Are there any other questions? I do have one question. So the money being spent today, how many years, is this coming up every year then for this, or is this a 5-year purchase, or?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, so this would be for 5 years.
Okay.
Yes. So the unit estimate in the chart is annually, but the total is for 5 years.
Okay. Thank you. Seeing no other questions, we have a proposed action that the Metropolitan Council authorize the regional administrator to award and execute contract 24P174 with PureFill Inc. to provide odor control media in amount not to exceed $4,233,000. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Just pick one.
Pick one. Moved by Morales,
I'll take
second
the
by
second.
Carter. Any further discussion?
Defer.
Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Passes unanimously. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members.
Perfect. Following next, we don't have any information items on the agenda today. And I added, which will be standing on the committee, kind of a report section. So from the chair, and then I want to give place for committee members to bring up anything that they'd be interested in hearing about from policy point of view or information that they're wanting to share, and then also the general manager report, which is always a standing committee. I'm just going to make just some general comments on how important it is for our water policy plan that was adopted, the 2050 plan, that we are going to really be needing to stretch ourselves and collaborate across all the divisions and all our silos and all our working groups, because really we're not going to be able to succeed in our 2050 plan without really having sustainable water supply, water quality, and health on that as well. As part of that, I'm also, just for information purposes, I also represent the Metropolitan Council on the Clean Water Council and the Clean Water Policy Council. And they're, in the future, we're not in a budget year this year, but there is money from the Clean Water Council that actually comes back into the metro region. And I'll make sure that I will bring that forward and show where that money is coming back into the Met Council region. And the Policy Committee also mimics quite a bit of what the policy is for the water policy on the Met Council, and also for the state as well. And so those are the other committees that I'm on, and then I also attend the White Bear Lake Work Plan Group as well. So maybe we'll just quickly go on the row this time, and just maybe you could just list the other committees you're on, so we're all aware that maybe we have information for you on your committee that we could share with you, or you could share with us, and then we'll just kind of keep it going. So I'll start with Councilmember Lee.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Chair. My name is Charlie. I'm the council member for District 13, and this is my first meeting here in this committee. I am also the chair of the Audit Committee, and I was just added onto the Investment Committee, and I'm on Community Development as well. And yeah, that's it.
Diego Morales, District 9. I sit on this committee, the Community Development Committee, Chair of the Investment Review Committee, Chair of the Land Use Advisory Committee, Housing Policy Plan Committee, Transportation Policy Plan Committee.
Nothing else?
I didn't have any more time, so no. Oh, also alternate delegate to the MAC. Yes, there was one more.
Wendy Wolf, District 16. I have been on this committee for almost 16 years now. And I'm also on the Community Development Committee. I was chairing LUAC, but Councilmember Morales took that away from me. And I am the chair of MOSAC, and I'm a representative to the Minnesota Council on Disability, the Governor's Homestead Plan Subcabinet, and I am back on MPOSC as the liaison again. I did that for a while, stopped for a while, now I'm back there. I think that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember
Okay,
Carter?
Councilmember Carter, I am on the Environmental Committee, I'm on Transportation, and I'm also on the Equity Committee. But one thing I would like to say is very important. I just want to welcome Chair Cedarberg, and I'm really happy that you're here today. And
Thank you.
I'm seeing great things as we go forward. And the other thing is, I just want to go on the record as saying whenever there's an outreach or an activity in my district, I would like to be notified, and I'm sure everybody else would in advance, and I'm sure you're going to do that. But I just want to go on the record as saying that, and once again, welcome and best wishes to you.
Well, thank you. I think everybody can see that we're spread over so many different committees, and we have lots of information to share. And so I know in talking to Lisa and Sam here, that there's going to be lots of opportunities for outreach from where we'll be asked to represent the Environment Committee. And so I can't attend them all, and I want everybody else to feel welcome to step in and represent the Met Council and the Environment Committee on these outreach events. And so you'll be asked, your calendars and if you can make it, and then we can cover for each other as well. If I can't make it, I'll reach out and say, can somebody else do it? And, on the west side of town, Councilmember Carter, you may pick up most of those, so as well. So I just, welcome to everybody, and I take any kind of feedback you want to give me, and so we can do a better job together. So that leaves the general manager report.
I can give you an assistant general manager report
Okay.
today. Thank you, Madam Chair. And I join in with the council members in welcoming you. It's great to sit next to you today. I'm standing in for Lisa Thompson, who is on vacation. We had an article in the ES update that might be of interest. It was really the pivot from all of the policy planning work. Some of our meetings have been shorter. While we were going through the policy planning work in the Environment Committee, our meetings were probably not shorter. We had workshops and a lot of information sharing, and even more information gathering and engagement out with our partners and stakeholders in the region. So there's been a little bit of a lull right now as we had some of those momentous occasions. And this, you missed it, Councilmember Lee, you missed almost a party moment when we had little party favors to blow and celebrate as we passed the water policy plan, which includes the master water supply plan this year. But the work is just beginning. We are pivoting to what does that mean for the region. We emphasized in this policy plan climate resilience, equity, sustainability, and some of the more tangible aspects of that, like reuse and dealing with emerging pollutants that we're concerned with. Affordability, things like that are all near and present topics and will only increase with time. So as we move into the local comp planning work over the next couple of years, we are going to be bringing more information here and opportunities for engagement, so you can learn in this venue, but also out as in our role as convener and partner in the region. And we hope to have some of those informational sessions coming to you in the next few months and through the course of the year. So thank you. I could mention the customer forums are an opportunity to engage directly, and they are tentatively scheduled right now, but you'll be hearing about those dates. We have 2 virtual dates we're looking at in May and 2 in-person dates we're looking at in early June. So more to come on when we lock those in, but I think we have you committed.
I'm gone for 3 of them because I'm out of the country, so.
So heads up.
Heads up. Well, thank you, Sam. Councilmember Wolf?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In kind of follow up to the Assistant General Manager's report, there's a couple things that I've been kind of wanting to get more information on, and one is an update on our condition assessment of the interceptors, and are we getting on top of that? Are there places that we're worried about, that sort of thing? And then the other one is with the new 2050 plan, are there areas where we're not having enough capacity that we're going to need to add some, and both on the water supply and the wastewater service side of things? If that makes sense.
It does. If we don't have it, I fear that we will have needed to have that. So yes, we'll bring those forward.
That's perfect. So, that's exactly, a perfect time to bring things like that up. Any other comments or questions from anybody? Dr. Carter?
I did leave off 2 committee assignments because they've been relatively recent. The Metro Green Line Extension Corridor Management Committee and also the Environmental Quality Board. I'm an alternate on that board, so.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, seeing no other business, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. You okay my first time?
There you go.